There he is.
We're live.
Are we live? I think
Live
we are.
on my channel, brother.
Whoa! You know what just popped up on my screen, Sean?
What's that, sir?
Something we'll talk about here after we play our intro for this week's edition of
Onlyfrets.
You're live in 3, 2, 1.
And we're back.
And I'm back. Good timing. So, not to leave you hanging any much longer. Whoops. Sorry, I had something pop out there. So, guess what, folks? Our live stream is sponsored by my good friends and hopefully my soon-to-be good friend affiliate there, Donner. Donner is sponsoring the video today. They sent out the new-ish Donner Hush X Pro, which I have for you. Big fan of the Hush series. I have a couple of them. The Hush X, which is the not Pro series, and the Hush One, which is the acoustic. And I'm supposed to be getting another one soon, but I'll leave the details on that one, unspoken. But just to talk about it real quick, I will have a full video on this coming soon. It's got basically everything you need in it to just plug and play, which is actually how I'm using it now. So when you hear something like this, that is all coming straight from the internals of this guitar. And it's kind of like all the other guitars in the Hush series. It's great, super portable. I've traveled with, not this one, but I've traveled with them before, and they fit right in like the trunk of a car, completely not taking up any space. They sound great on the road. They hold up. I think this one's got like carbon fiber reinforcement in the neck. So, I mean, it's not going to move. Set it up and it's going to stay that way probably till the end of time and beyond. And yeah, all of the effects in it just sound great. They're all editable onboard tools, everything you need, built-in tuner. Great stuff. So thank you, Donner, for sponsoring not just this channel and everything, but effectively Sean's channel as well and this live stream.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, those things are so cool. So with those sort of ghost body guitars, like I'm not the biggest fan of the way that they look, but I will caveat by saying that I have never spent any meaningful amount of time with them. So, I'm going to lean on your opinion, experience. You like similar guitars to me. If you're telling me that thing's cool, I'm gonna say it probably is. And I have no relationship with Donner, but I do have a yellow edition triple threat Jack White Donner pedal plugged in here. And what you were saying earlier about this pedal, which is interesting, is it's just kind of everything goes to 11 on this pedal. You know what I mean? Like, the distortion just gets untenable at some point, and it's very Jack White of him to like make a pedal that is like that. So I've had it on my little board attached to that Sonic Cake that you sent me, and I've streamed with it several times on my Friday nights, and I really like it. And it's just a really cool distortion. Just quick before we get into our other stuff. Oh, my sound went underwater. That's weird. Hold on. I don't know. Anyway, what up to Jimmy Biter and what up to Keith over here on my channel? Anybody hanging out with you over there, Jonathan?
It's a ghost town.
Well, for now.
Everybody stuck around trying to wait for us to start at 2 and 11 a.m. Respectively. But as you know, continuing to fight through some weird stuff, but we're learning.
The
Apparently,
next
my camera
episode
likes
of
to act
technical
as a
difficulties.
yeah. My camera likes to act as the audio source, and that's a big no-no. But I'm glad we figured that out before we started.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, and then one more thing about the whole affiliate thing. There's a link in the description of my stream that if you click it, it is an affiliate link. It will help me out. But if you go there and buy anything, up until the 29th, they are running a big sale. So a lot of stuff's discounted. And then I have my code Flamingo at checkout, which may or may not get you an additional 15% off, but you can use that anywhere, anytime, basically site wide. So just throwing that out there too.
Oh yeah.
So
Jonathan,
yes.
is Guitar YouTube dead, bro?
I almost feel like right now a lot of people think it's got one foot in the grave, honestly. Specifically on the metal side, that's been a big contingency recently, is a lot of metal YouTubers. Like, I mean, you look at Nick Nocturnal, who stepped away from it. I mean, that dude is really, I guess, huge, you know, and I guess he got burnt out, couldn't take it. Bradley Hall had made a video talking about how there's not a lot of originality, you know, and it's like, I kind of see it, and it made me feel a little way, because I was like, you know what? I don't really feel like I'm contributing to it. So maybe am I part of the problem as well? Because I mean, as of late, I've been doing a lot of reviews, and I know that's exactly what YouTube needs, is another handful of review videos. Right.
Right.
But, you know, it's kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, I need something new. I want something fresh. I want something that's, you know, I'm going to keep doing it, like YouTube and stuff, but I want to try to branch away from doing as many reviews. And I think I've said that before a couple times, maybe, but you know, I think your video went dead, just so you're aware.
It did?
It looks like you're not on my thing.
It's still streaming on mine.
At least not in my OBS. That's weird.
I didn't do anything. Can you
I don't
hear
know.
me?
In OBS you're gone. Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
That's really weird, man.
If y'all don't believe us, this is the crap we deal with while we're trying to get started.
Technical difficulty.
I got an idea, but anyway, that's I'm gonna try something just
Okay.
while we're doing this. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is I think that there is a lot of validity in that statement, but I don't think it's dead. I think that it's just it's in dire need of something, specifically again in the metal realm, because as metal's kind of evolved into what it is now, it's kind of just gotten real overproduced and stale and kind of just the same stuff. And I always say this, which ties nicely into our next topic, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but you know, when it comes to like writing something, you only have the same amount of notes as everybody else.
Right.
Everybody's working with the exact same thing. So something's going to sound similar or something at some point, or something's going to sound kind of the same or whatever. But, you know, there's always something that you can add to it that'll separate it from everything else or make you stand out from the rest, is my point. So,
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on that. I'm sort of like a YouTube guitar channel monogamist in a way. Like, I find channels that I really like, and then I just stick with them. You know, I show up for all, you know, as many live streams as I can, and I watch all the videos, and I try to comment on everything and be supportive of the people on YouTube that I like. And you know, the algorithm has you branch out a little bit. You know, I see new things and I'll check it out and all of that, but there's so much of it that it's just kind of like, there's only so many hours in the day. And by the way, it is summer. It is gig season. It is like totally like not people staying in their house all the time. So it's not the time of year for like guitar YouTube really. Just had a conversation about this with somebody, video on that dropping tomorrow, but I'm going to keep it a little bit wrapped up, but like, yeah,
How
it's just,
rude.
what's that? I know, um, well, I don't want to give, I'm excited about
Don't
it. I don't know.
don't
I don't want to. But anyway, yeah,
keep it
it's
under
just
wraps.
like not the time of year for YouTube to be really super healthy. In the winter,
Mm,
videos always do better.
yep.
Um,
And I've heard big YouTubers say that too. I've heard them say, around like September, October, it kind of starts to pick back up. And then like really around the holidays, kind of, you get more people in, maybe visiting family and stuff and kind of watching YouTube, maybe not together, but maybe like on the trips to go visit,
yep.
people watch it more. That is a 100%, I think, true statement, is that it's because of the time of year. It really does affect, your analytics of everybody, really.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's got a niche, whether you like it or not. But,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, and that's another point. You bring that up, the niche, like if you're my channel, like I'm trying really hard to stay like out of any pigeonholes. Because I'm doing this as just kind of like as a more of a hobbyist,
yep.
it's not quite your job, but you are far more professionally driven on YouTube than I am at this point. And you have sponsorships and your channel's growing and it's doing awesome, super healthy. But I like am just kind of like, oh, that would be cool. That's the headspace I'm in with YouTube. And I don't want
Right.
to be the interview guy. Keith, who's on here, always says he doesn't want to be the Guthrie Trap lesson guy, and you want to
Oh,
sort of keep varieties the spice of life.
yeah.
Anytime you do something that's like outside the box, like when you did your what's the tremolo system that I'm spacing on the name of right now? The Floyd Rose, like how to set that up, or you do
Yeah.
like videos that are a little outside of just gear review, which is like your gear review stuff is a huge benefit to our community, but at the same time, those videos are always cool to watch, like when you're doing something a little outside the box. So I hear you on that. Like you don't want to be too, and it'll become monotonous for you, the creator as well, and you want to avoid that for sure.
Right.
um Guitar Talk Universe, what up? Tease Guitars in the house. Torsten, how you doing, brother? Tease makes a really great budget line guitar, by the way. I know we're sponsored by Donner today and we love Donner, but Torsten makes a really great budget line guitar.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, do you have like specific to the metal community? I mean, we've got new people like DJ, who we worked with on that Dude Alert thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
There's new people coming up all the time. Do you think maybe some of the top dogs need to make a little room for us ankle biters, or what do you think?
So I'm not one to go sit and say like in a way like, oh, they need to share in the spoils of it and all that kind of stuff. Because to me, it's like, as unfair as it sounds, like if they were here first, they were kind of here first. Now, if they like retire, if they stop doing it, and then someone comes and kind of moseys along, like, okay. Um, I think that if they use their platform, which some do, which I appreciate, to kind of promote some of the newer guys or some of the other smaller channels, even if they're not new, if they've been doing it for 10 years and they're, not at 10K yet or whatever, for example,
Right.
um, kind of have someone like Music is Win or something be like, hey, this guy's cool. I checked him out. And some of them do that where they like Stevie T was a good example of that. He'll do those, or he did. I don't know if he does them now, but the reaction videos where he'd be like, oh, I'm going to go watch, the best guitarist on YouTube, or Samurai Guitarist does that a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go check out these these are the best guitar solos. And it's just like, oh, this is Ricky from Ricky's Guitar Channel. And he plays something and then, his traffic will pick up, or like who was it? I forget who did it for him, but the Bald Shredder. he got a
Mhm.
lot of traffic from a video. Someone mentioned him in there, and he picked up a lot.
I think it
you
was
know?
maybe Guitar Max.
Yeah, I think it was Guitar Mags mentioned the bald shredder one time, and he there was a video that I watched a while back where he was like crediting him for it, or like Guitar Max was talking about how he mentioned it and he did it, which was maybe in the similar realm of what I'm saying, where the bigger channels promote the smaller ones, because I think everybody's going to have some kind of a different take on something, or some kind of maybe slight variation in their playing style that might
Yeah.
add a little bit to it. But you know, you always hear people talk about like where when you do pick up, it's like you go da 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 da, and then you kind of reach your peak, and then you kind of just your star falls. That's what happens.
Mm.
Um, so it is what it is. But as far as saying like, you've been doing this forever, you need to leave, so make room for the new, like, get out boomer kind of thing. Like, I don't think so. I think if it's working for you, hey, it's just, I got to do better. If anything, use it as inspiration at the bottom
Yeah.
to inspire yourself to climb that ladder like they did, because
Yeah.
they all started at the same spot. But
Well, and I think I look at the bigger channels I watch. I subscribe to Paul David's, and I'm subscribed to Music Is Win, and the Rhett Scholes of the world, and all that stuff. Robert Baker. I mean, all and but what I've found is that when you're watching these channels, because I check out Bald Shredder, watch Carl's channel, No Shred Zone, or like whatever.
yeah,
I've found that there are, like, I would never, you inspired me to demo stuff, but like more like demo stuff that I already have, because that to me makes me play the things that I own and appreciate them in a different way.
yeah,
Not inspire me to like go out and try to like get a bunch of like work with a company or anything like that. That I
right,
feel like you were doing the same thing at the start, and sort of the other stuff rolls in as it should on its own
right,
time, and you were really great about like letting that happen, and not keeping any like doors closed to that or anything like that. um but I'm more like, I find channels that I like where the attitude is good and the base is built on like positive stuff, and then sort of just, that's the model, right? I just want to build it the right way. And I think if you just keep doing that, eventually YouTube somehow makes room for everybody. Because you'll get a
yeah,
random video that from a guitar creator that you've never seen, and he has like 17,000 subs or something. That happened to me with Super Danger. I was like, who's this
right,
guy? He's been making videos for like 3 years. I've never seen one, and they're like some of the best like videos on YouTube at all.
yeah,
And you're just kind of like, okay, there's plenty of room for me on here. So it's not really kind of like anybody else's existence has anything to do with your existence also being valid and good.
right.
Sped Spedding, the same thing. Have you ever watched Sped Spedding?
No,
He's based in the UK, and he's a huge like Led Zeppelin, Billy Gibbons guy. Like, it's more like classic rock driven, so maybe your algorithm's feeding you more like towards the metal side of things, and maybe that's why you haven't seen him. But yeah, the guy has like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, I think, of subs or something like.
wow,
Maybe not quite, but it just makes
yeah,
these beautiful, awesome, fun videos, and he's really like interactive in the comments section. I don't think I've ever left a comment he hasn't responded to. Um,
Hmm.
it's just a great dude. Loves like, PRS and Les Pauls, and great reviews, and everything's like, and
right.
you're like, why haven't I heard of him? And so I think there's plenty of room on YouTube, to your point.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I mean, and you got to think of all the like literal hundreds of thousands of videos that are uploaded every single day. Like you're fighting to get ahead of all of those other videos every day,
Right.
right? all the new ones, all the old ones that are already on here, the probably billions of videos that are on here. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And like there was another guy that I saw recently that came up on my feed, and I don't think he's huge, but he's like a fair bit bigger than I am. A lot of his videos get it's Din. I think BMX is his full channel. Big Les Paul guy. So I'm like,
Sure.
why did this guy not come up on my feed, you know, 3 years ago or whatever?
Right.
But you know, yeah, he's cool. He's just a real, like, his videos are really, really good, and he's just so not serious. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know, and that's kind of, and I think that's kind of gonna be something that's the problem with me that I'm starting to realize is I feel like I'm too, I don't want to say professional, but I'm too like in the mode of like, I'm on the radio, so I'm gonna just, here's my radio voice and here's this product that I'm like, I don't want to be that way.
Clean,
You know, and I
crisp,
feel like I'm starting to drift into that.
polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I can tell you why I do that. It's because with my side gig of doing the trivia games and stuff, that's kind of what I do. I put on a little bit of a, you know, just a different kind of inflection in my voice and stuff, and it's kind of starting to bleed into the YouTube thing, which this needs to be more of like a casual, like, you know, because I always try to be who I am. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
like trying to put on a character or play a part or anything, but
Yeah. Well, I don't think think
I've
you
always tried
come
to present
across that
myself as
way.
genuine.
Yeah, I don't think you come across
Right.
that way
Yeah.
at
And
all.
it's
You have a
maybe
sweet
that's me being
voice
too much
for
of a self
radio.
critic. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I've never really, I've had people tell me like, you know, you got a decent voice, you got a good voice or whatever. And it works for this, you know, but I don't know. I've always kind of found my voice to be like whiny and just be, but again, everybody hates the sound of their own voice. Nobody
That's
likes
true.
the sound of their own voice. So
100%.
even though I talk a lot, it's not because I like hearing myself talk. It's because I have to.
Well, that's the hard part. You and I, you know, I watch some podcasts of varying varieties, and the dynamic always seems to be that they have like one guy who's not a talker and the other guy who is. But you and I, chatty Cathy's,
Oh, we
baby,
just
couple
talk.
hens in the hen house,
Yeah.
you know. And I like
Yeah.
that because I don't feel bad about being myself because you're the same way. So
Yeah.
sometimes we talk over each other. Nobody gets offended, and that's just like the easiest thing for me. Real quick, before we can switch course and talk about our other topic. Guitar Talk Universe over here on my channel says our community is great and always here to help. By the way, you guys are always welcome to come on and jam live. They do a similar thing to OU812, and they are part of that community. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for a way to step outside your box, check out Guitar Talk Universe, check out OU812 crew, and they do these live jams sometimes. And I think it would be sick to just like for you to like get on there and mingle a little bit with some of these guys. They're really cool. Super nice. And you know, they kind of handle everything. So you just make sure that you're plugged into your interface and your microphone and everything, and then you go to their link and it just kind of gets taken care of. So it's really sweet. And then BBM, welcome to the chat. Good to see you, brother. Also doing a lot of stuff, and that kind of wraps up the point is like we can all build these channels together, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if Guitar YouTube is suffering at a certain threshold, there's a lot of guys that are out here creating all the time, and I feel lucky to just be with all of you on that ride. So I think that's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's a bit of a different experience being a bunch of smaller channels kind of together. And now I'm not going to say this with any kind of, you know, ill intent.
Sure.
The amount of humbleness that comes with being smaller and kind of being part of like accepted into the community, if you will. Like, oh yeah, you know, I've got 3,000 and I've got 5,000 subs. I got 10,000, but I'm proud of your 7 kind of thing. You know, like we're not being invited to NAM and we're not going to, you know, 42 Gear Street or anything like that. But I don't know. It's a totally different experience being, you know, down here with all the other, you know, up and coming people,
The common folk.
Yeah, the common folk. Yeah.
Well,
which, you know, again, you know, I don't say that in any kind of rude way because
no.
I mean, I always like to say we're on our way to the top. We're all on our way at some point. It's just a matter of when
Yeah. And
you
how
take off, you know?
is it better to have a huge community or just a good one? You know what I mean? Like,
It's quality over quantity. You know?
right?
Does that apply
100%,
on YouTube?
100%.
You know?
And I also, just the NAM thing, I found out something very interesting from Sean at the Edge of Breakup. He has a great YouTube channel, phenomenal guitar player. You don't need to be invited to NAM. You can just pay $100 and go.
Right.
Which I didn't know. I had no idea. Apparently, you have a YouTube channel, so you are press, and you just pay $100 and then get your hotel room and go. And then there's another guy during NAM that runs a little side NAM type thing that Sean says is way cooler than NAM. And you could, like,
well, I don't
go
think
to
NAM is,
you know.
yeah, I don't think NAM is anything like it was years and years and years ago, especially after COVID. But I mean, I've heard so many people say that, like, that have gone regularly. It's just like, you know, it's kind of not the same.
I just got a great question before we switch topics here. Torsten at T's Guitars asks, does being part of the pack of content providers lock you into the same viewers, or would be worth breaking off to test the theory? That's a really good question. Are you sort of in an echo chamber at that point where you're just sharing the same 1,000 people? You know, that kind of stuff.
That is a good question. And I think that was something that I heard someone else say. I think it was Rob Chapman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had posted a video about 5 reasons why I won't watch that video kind of thing. It's like things to avoid. And I think he said something similar where it's like, you know, if there are 500,000, you know, guitar player or guitarist YouTube channels, and then 500,000 guitar players that don't post anything but watch and consume, like we're all sharing that same crowd. So yes, and I think that's part of the thing is nobody wants to branch off and do something else because they're afraid of losing that audience, which I get it. Again, you build your niche, you know, oh, you're a guitar player, but that's why I've tried to do things like, you know, drums here and there, or I did that Lakato ukulele because it's like a guitar, but it's like a ukulele. So it's like, I mean, there could be ukulele players that are on YouTube that are like, oh, you know, because you never know unless you take the chance, you don't know. There's something, I don't want to say what it is, but I'll save it for when it comes out. There's a company that I'm working with that are just like, do you do this? Do you play this? Do you do that? And I'm like, yes, I can, kind of. But I'm like, you know what? You know, send it. Just send. Yeah. There's one thing in particular. I'm like, yeah, send it because it'll be fun to do. And it's going to be like not a serious review or anything like that, but it'll be a fun video. So I'm like, that's something that's different. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
To say that like I don't get excited about stuff is I don't want to say it's an understatement because I'm kind of just like, oh, here's another guitar, and maybe it's starting to come through a little bit on video, and I'm just kind of like, I really don't care at this point, you know, like I give it credit where it's due and everything, but maybe I'm just kind of getting a little cynical,
a little burnout,
maybe. I don't know, maybe a little bit of burnout. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I've thought about taking some time off because I could stop making videos today and nobody would notice, really, for 2 reasons. One, my views have been absolutely in the toilet lately. I don't know what's going on with that. Probably because of summertime. Yeah. And two, I've got so many videos that I've done that aren't really reviews necessarily, that are scheduled. Like I think I've got one video a week until November 10th.
Mm-hmm.
If I stop making them, I would just have them consistently coming out until then.
Until winter.
And I'm like, yeah, until November 10th or whatever the date is.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, and I thought about, you know what, if I can get to the point where I have one once a week through the end of the year, just, you know, take an extended hiatus, because it's going to look like I'm appeasing the algorithm
Mm-hmm.
by continuing to provide content. Everyone's going to kind of stick around because they're going to think I'm still making videos. But I mean, it's going to be like a stark change when some of those older
You
videos
can
finally drop.
give yourself
like my room
space.
is not, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you could give yourself some space to like decide if you want to go in a different direction, or, you know, come up with some you know, some new ideas, something outside the box. I mean, that it's nice
Right.
to have that buffer. I'm like, everything I do is like as
As that
released,
happens.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have
Well,
a
see, and there's
backlog.
there's downsides to it too. So it's like, okay, so I have pieces of gear. My thing is, I try not to showcase things on the channel until I have the official video out. And I do that because if the official video hasn't come out yet and it's a review, but you hear me playing this amp, for example, that I've not used yet, sometimes people are like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Let me hear more of that." But I'm like, if you've already heard it, you're not going to watch the full video on it. So that's me wasting my time. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
does it make any kind of
I got
sense?
you.
I've got, you know, like those Les Pauls. I've showcased both those Les Pauls on the stream. I don't think that that's really going to affect it if I don't. But I'm like, do we really need another Gibson Les Paul review? Like, it's stuff like that where I'm just like,
Yeah. Well,
you know, instead of just blindly making things, do I use this time to, you know, take a break, reevaluate, and come back with something to try to fix the guitar YouTube problem? You know, do
right.
I try
Be
to
a
be
part
that
of the
superhero?
solution.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
mean,
which, you know,
goes back to your first point, which is kind of like it's all been done a little bit. So yeah, I mean, like Rhett Scholl did the gig vlogs better than anybody's ever done them, and JHS, their show format, you know, is the best one on YouTube that I've seen. Like, and but I like, I do like new stuff. There's this smaller channel called Gear Night, and they haven't been posting like that regularly, but it's just two bros in one of the bros' house, and they just like play pedals and talk trash, and it's really fun. I love that channel, and that's it's a show format, but it's completely different than something like JHS does, because of the vibe. So yeah, maybe it's like a vibe shift that you're really looking for, rather than like,
no, and that's,
rather
yeah.
than what you're doing.
And
What you're doing is great. Reviewing stuff is awesome. It's so much fun. Getting free stuff to like check out, and like whether you have to send it back or you get to keep it or you get paid or not, like that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
But maybe a vibe shift is what you're looking for.
No, and I think 100% that's what it is. And that's kind of why, because to me, like, I'm one of those people that think, like, my sense of humor is kind of weird sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, literally just like, it just goes over people's heads, and I'm just, I think it's funny when it does, because I'm like, I'm the only one laughing at the joke, and I think it's hilarious. Like, that's just how I am. But I'm also like one of those people where, like, I had this idea a long time ago. I'm trying to think of like 5 different things at once. I had this idea a long time ago where I was going to do a style of review and call it something like late to the party, and be like, I know that this thing's been out for like 15 years now, but I'm just now finding out about it. So let's see if it's, you know, like, I thought that was a funny idea.
That is a good idea.
Play on the ignorance or whatever, just the fact that I literally wasn't born when this product came, or whatever it was, you know.
My bad.
Or like, right, like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was born in the 90s, not the
Oh,
70s
like
or whatever.
miss the boat or something like that. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, like a missed the boat review or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was a running theme that I had with it at one point too.
That's a
But
great idea.
yeah,
Amanda brings up a good point too. She says this is why people start second channels, which is a cool,
yes,
Robert Baker ran a second channel for a little while, and
Mhm.
he doesn't do much on it anymore. I think it kind of just fizzled out, or when he moved to Nashville, it didn't like take or whatever. But he ran a
Yeah,
second channel, and that was more just a little less review and lesson and a little more hang and play kind of a thing. So,
yeah.
that's another thing, that can be considered for somebody who has a following at your level, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I've toyed with the idea of doing something like that. But like something that I've done too is I've stopped posting on Instagram as much. Like when videos come out, I really just kind of because I heard a while back that if you stick to one platform, whatever your
Yeah.
platform is, YouTube, they have community. Post on community,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a rock and a hard place sometimes because it's like, well, then what do I have Instagram? But I can post stuff there that's not really like because all I ever do is post thumbnails, and then you
Well,
like them, and then it kind of
my
goes into the
idea is
ether,
like my idea is just mine, it's just Sean McCartney. So like you're gonna see me playing guitar in my basement. You're gonna see my kids playing t-ball. You're gonna see me and my wife going
Yeah,
on a date night. Like my Instagram's like my playground digitally. I have
right.
zero focus on Instagram, but I don't post that much either, and I don't
Yeah,
promote too much YouTube. If I do an episode of Tone Deep, I'll promote on IG, and I haven't been good about promoting this on IG, but I need to
neither
get
have I.
better at that. But they don't talk to each other very well. Like you should be able
No,
to take a short and just post it to IG, like without
yeah.
any. It should just be like copy short, post to IG, or like send this short to IG, and like they don't talk to each other well at all. So I found that to be a little frustrating.
Well, and the same goes for something like TikTok. But I will tell you this:
Yeah.
I attribute Carl's success that he's had because he's like he picked me and him were kind of neck and neck on subscribers. He's always been a little bit ahead of me, but I think I caught up to him at one point. But he like took off a little bit. And I contribute that or attribute that success directly to what he does on TikTok because he is very active on TikTok. And he does, here's my 60-second review. And I'm like, I love that.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another style of idea that I had a while back, which was kind of straight to the point. No intro, no nothing, because I watch a lot of true crime stuff.
Okay.
And a lot of those channels will literally start at like, you know, here are the top 5 serial killers, and they just start at it.
Yeah.
Number 5 is
Oh
Ted
yeah.
Bundy, blah
I
blah
know
blah
what
blah,
you're
blah.
talking
And they
about.
just jump into it. And
Yep.
it's like, oh, I love that. You don't have to put up with the bullshit. And it's like, so I've kind of thought of doing something like that. Like instead of it being like, today we're taking a look at it, just be like, hey, here's the Donner thing. Here's what it sounds like, burnt. And I've kind of started doing that on some of my newer videos.
Yep.
Obviously you talk about it, say links are in the description, blah, blah. You got to do all that. But I think it kind of speaks for itself if they know where people know where to find that stuff. So just little things like that you pick up on, I think.
Well, I'll
I
say
don't know.
this.
Before we move to our next topic for the third time.
Yes. I do the my interview series, my Tone Deep
Yeah.
and podcast, and that is what are the words? That's like I'm really passionate about that. I think when people watch like how much time and effort I put into those videos, that's to show appreciation for the people who show up on them and
Yeah.
do the podcast with me, because they're taking an hour and a half out of their day to like talk to some guy in his basement in Eastern Washington. So I want to make sure I do a good job, and they take a lot of energy. So like I'm not going to do another one until like the end of the summer. I have like 2 kind of in the hopper, and then actually technically 3.
Yep.
But I just need to like recharge. So I totally feel you on what you're talking about there. I need to also work on my Firebird guitar and film that because I desperately want to play it, but it needs to be complete. But yeah,
Right.
you can get burnt out on one thing, so it's good to like be able to switch gears and change. All right, so we'll shift topic now for sure. Just want to say what up to Yussi and to Sparky and Amanda Coombs. I don't think I said what up to her, but she's been in the chat. So thank you to those who have showed up. And what's our second topic? Writer's block, right?
Yeah, the classic. The classic. We all suffer from it at some point, and I have most certainly. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just a mix of the burnout and stuff. But I've kind of felt that way for a little while. Um, Part of it kind of broke through. Like I felt like I made a breakthrough when I did the Bogren Digital contest entry, which by the way didn't place. Really, really bummed out by that one.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even get an
Golly, dude,
honorable
what do you
mention.
got to
Yeah, and
do?
that's what I'm saying because I like, and again, I hold no animosity. The winners
No.
were great and
Mhm.
stuff, but I'm just like, do they even see it? Because I've had them comment on it one time where they, I made a little joke in the video and they commented on it and kind of acknowledged the joke, and I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was a good sign, but it wasn't. But like this one, I feel like, man, I put a lot of energy into this and a lot of
It was a
time,
great
did a lot
track.
of extra stuff. Yeah, the track, I was really proud of that, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, not even to get a like, did they even see it? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because I posted on Instagram, they're always like, put the hashtags in here, and I think that kind of threw me back into that sense of like, a lot of it is self-doubt. I mean, you're going to be you're your own worst critic,
Mhm.
you're just like, that riff sucks, or this, this tone's not that great, or, I
Right.
don't know. So it's a lot of that, I think, with me. Or like you'll have a riff, but that's it. You have nowhere. And I'm notorious for that in my songwriting. I will get a riff and I'm like, this is so cool, but I hit a brick wall and I cannot write, like a verse to it. I can
Yeah.
write a chorus or
Yeah.
something that could go as a chorus or maybe even like a verse, but I'm missing other pieces of it. So that's
Well,
kind of where my writer's block comes in. And lyrics don't get me
creativity
started.
is ebbs and flows. For me,
Oh yeah.
some people, if you're Tom Petty or whatever, you can just pull songs out of thin air all the time. But
Yeah.
I've found, we did that. Me and Yossi and Ubi and this guy named Raylin Martin Smith, who is dropping a absolute banger of an album. If you want to hear some of his music, I played it on last week's live stream towards the end of the stream. But he's been sharing his music, and anyway, we have this group of folks on BandLab, which is kind of like social media and and a DAW, and so we've communicated on there and we've written some songs. And actually, we Yossi had one that he had started, and then I went in and layered some things on, and then that kind of triggered his creativity, like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I can, like, let's do this here. Working with others is a really good way to sort of break yourself out of the slump. But even that, I haven't written or played anything on there in a while. And and so, or like Ubi had the jam track thing, was like a community thing where we all made a backing track and then sent it in, and then he sent you back a different backing track other than yours to solo over. And
Right.
so like I've found like the community, the circle I'm running in has been great for creativity. But even that, it's like, as an artist, we are fickle people. Like we have ebbs and flows of creativity, so you're always going to hit like a plateau or a lull. It's just bound to happen. But I think the way to get out of it is to just be creative in your approach and be open
Mhm.
to a different opportunity here or there. Maybe like for you, maybe you're feeling a little stuck after that Bogren. So you go to open mic
Yeah.
and you post that on Instagram and get some positive feedback. Oh, dang, dude, are you playing? That's what I did to you. You
Right.
know, I was excited for you. And when others get excited for you to do a thing, it can motivate you to maybe
Yeah.
pursue that.
Yeah. Because I try to keep that mindset, and this has always been my mindset, and probably hopefully will always be my mindset of doing this. It's for me, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I know an audience is important, but I love my audience. I do. But if I'm putting something out, it's because I'm proud of it for the most part. You know, it's like I want your feedback. I do truly. And I will take the feedback. I'm pretty good at criticism. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, if I like it, I'm gonna put it out. If I don't like it, I won't, you know.
Yeah.
Because I want to be happy with. Because if I'm not happy with it, in my mind, I feel like you're not gonna be happy with it. It's kind of the
Yeah.
thing, which
That's the biggest
doesn't
thing, you
matter
know,
because
we talked about earlier being, you know, like being genuine, finding genuine creators, you know, guys and gals that are like obviously probably cool. I think that's like how I um got kind of interested in becoming friends with you on, you know, via YouTube, is because feel like you were putting off a real genuine vibe, and those are the people I'm interested in interacting with. And
yeah,
yeah, it's, I don't know, um it's just a weird thing to be a musician, because you
yeah,
do experience sort of like bipolar flurries of creativity, you know.
yeah. Well, and I think another big part of it is for me may not be with anybody else. A lot of my creative energy has been going into different things as of late. So for context, my daughter's in band, right? In her high school band. And this will be her second year coming up. And me and my wife are both on the booster club committee, right? So we're both a big integral part of that. And where I've landed, where I wanted to be in that, I've kind of been doing things like coming up with ideas for how we can do more of this or how we can make more money doing this, or
Yeah,
specifically designing, because we're doing like the concession side of it, right? So we're
right.
handling all the food and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm doing specifically is handling a lot of the graphic design stuff, because I can use Canva, you know, pretty well. I'm pretty good at making the thumbnails and stuff. So it's kind of the same deal. So like I've had to take time and like redo our menu and make flyers and make QR codes and like implement all these ideas that we came up with and go to the meetings. So a lot of my creative energy is being put into that because I mean, that's my kid. I'm a kind of prioritize that over, you know, because that's ultimately the end of the day for her. Um,
Yeah,
so that's kind of where I'm putting that energy right now. And like I said, it's good because I don't have to stress about the YouTube thing. It's like, oh, I've got, you know, 25 or 30 other videos that are scheduled. I could do this for the rest
right.
of the season and be fine, you know? So that takes that stress off, and that's great where I have that.
Yeah.
But then when you go to sit down, like, oh, I got a break from YouTube and this, I have wanted to write an album or like an EP, something. Whoop, there goes the guitar, something like that for years. I've wanted to do that. But
Yeah.
the second that I sit down to do it, I'm just like, I get so discouraged and I don't know what it is.
Some videos aren't meant to be
Yeah.
made, my man.
Yeah.
Some stuff's maybe just not, I mean, I don't know. I've done that too, where I'm trying to like force a thing and make
Mm-hmm.
something because I want to make it so badly. But
Yeah.
my heart, my soul, my creativity, whatever, is just like, this is not the right thing, you know, if whether I'm writing a song or making a YouTube video or whatever. Um, so I hear you on that. Just want to quick shout out Mark Spurgeon in the chat. What's up, buddy? And then Torsten at T's Guitars says he's going to disassemble a guitar, roll the body down a fire escape, put it back together, and name his video in my instant relic. Maybe even drag it across the asphalt. Clickbait. Yeah, totally, dude.
Gonna get a lot of hate for that one.
Oh, it'll be so funny though. I mean, yeah, Torsten's awesome. I've had a couple private chats with him, and or at least one, and he's just so funny. And then BBM, Timothy Baby Boy Mulligan here runs a great channel. He's an awesome creator, by the way. Just he's constantly putting out music. Same with 2 Yards. What up, 2 Yards? 2 Yards makes great music and videos. But BBM says, I hear you on the creativity ebbs and flows. I have a catalog of music and I go back and find that song or go through my papers and add a thought, and then a full song comes out to beat the block. So yeah, definitely revisiting old material is a great way to, you know, sort of just drum up creativity. Sometimes you just got to dig for it, you know, and and you can find it.
Well, and everything you write as a first draft, that's something that I always try to live
Right.
by too, is you can write a riff and think, oh, that is just the best riff I've ever written, but you're going to change something about it. You're never going to record it the first time around and be happy with it, because you're gonna be like, oh, I could add this little frill here. Maybe I can change this note half a step or whatever. It's going to be something. I do that all the time. And I forget who said that, but that is like the truest thing ever.
Yeah,
So
totally. Sparky says, I apologize for lurking. My hands are busy, but I'm enjoying the conversation. Sparky, phrasing, dude. Phrasing.
I know. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, bro?
Save it for the after show.
Phrasing, Sparky. Phrasing. I keep telling you this. No, just kidding. And then seems like something happened in my chat over here that is a Easter egg. Torsten at T's Guitar says, if you want to do that video, I'll send you a guitar. So take that for what it's worth. I think I'm going to be working with Torsten here a little bit and checking out one of the T's guitars, which I'm really excited about. So
cool.
Yeah, looking forward to that, man. Again, just a cool dude, fun person to talk with. Yeah, man. I'm not sure if I have anything else to add to that. 2 Yards says, for me, I'm not into YouTube for the money, so a lot of things do not affect me, which is really cool. I mean, that's a good point too. It's like, never do anything for the money.
Yeah, that's the attitude I've always had with it.
Right.
So my daughter's in here making fun of me. She can't hear nothing, and it's just me in front of a camera.
You're just talking to your computer, Dad, you weirdo.
I know. She walked in and she was like, "What's up?" But no, yeah, that's what I've said from like day one. And,
Yeah.
And this is the point I was going to make with the YouTube is like, if I can't write a freaking song, I'm going to like, you know, find a way to make this graveyard of riffs that I have sitting over here, you know, just to get them out there. Cause it's like you said, you never know. Sometimes it's just you play something and it's like, boom, you know? So I was like, you know what? I've got a couple guitars. Let me get on here and just play some riffs around and just dick around and have fun. And I've always said, if the money comes, the money comes. If it doesn't, and I stick with it for a year and I throw it away, it's like, cool.
Yeah.
And it also gives you that freedom to be like, if you just want to drop the whole YouTube thing completely and just disappear with no explanation, you can. I mean, who's going to stop you? You know,
Right.
money or not. And that's what I've always said. I'm like, you know, I've got a huge backlog of videos that at this point, if I wanted to stop, if I made $100 in a month randomly. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that helps keep it fun, because I don't, the dream, I think, is to like have this to be a job and it be like this big fun thing. But like, holy crap, I am so inundated right now as a hobby.
Right.
Like if you ever see me posting more than once a week, I'm busy.
Yeah.
So like come the next like 2 weeks, it's probably going to be a video every day. Maybe not Saturday and Sunday, but like every day. Cause I've just got so much that I'm like, and again, I don't ever say that as like
it's not a flex.
It's not a flex. It's not me trying to be like, I've got all this stuff. It's just, everybody hit me at once and it's like, we want to send you this. And it's hard to turn away free gear. Let's be totally real.
Yeah, of
But
course.
even if it's spaced out, I mean, even if it's spaced out, like all that Joyo stuff I've talked about for weeks, I finally got it.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was 6 things.
Dang.
So I was like, on top of like the other 3 things that I had already sitting here, I now had that. And I always try to just get it out as quick as I can, not in like a I'm being lazy, but it's just like it impresses them and it's good for business, right?
Right.
But that's me making it a job, and I don't want to do that. See?
Well,
Because I mean, you look at someone like Phil McKnight, he's always like, I sit with it for like a month. So he'll be like, I've had this guitar for like a month because I want to see what it's like after a month. But I'm more like, I want to see what it's like when I get it out of the box. Because if it's crap out of the box, I can try to fix it. If I can't fix it, then it's just crap all around. You know, that's my concept of it. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Couple more comments contributing to this conversation, which is super fantastic.
Oh yeah.
BBM says, I do YouTube for the love of music and instruments.
Yep.
I would love to make a couple hundred to support the channel, but if not, that's okay. Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, it's like, I saw something on Instagram the other day where somebody's like, if it was probably not so funny because it was about infidelity, but it was basically like somebody posted, how come guys never say, no, I have a girlfriend? And then the comment below said, if somebody offered you $100, would you say, no, I already have $100 in my wallet? Oh, there we go. You're back. You know, it's just like, I already have a guitar. No, thank you. What is that? Like, nobody understands that. None of us would understand that. Like, you know, Torsten's like, I want you to check out this Strat or whatever, you know, one of my T's guitars. I'm not going to tell him no. I'm going to check it out because they're well reviewed. He's super cool. And who doesn't want another Strat? Like, you know, like that would be awesome.
I have a good example of that too. I have a great example of that. Hold on. Let me move this. I'm pretty notorious. I say notorious, but to people that know me, for not liking Telecasters. I hate them. I've tried to love them. But, and this is actually a video idea, I'm giving it away, but for all of the one person that's concurrent and the 3 people that popped in and then went away, I don't think I'm spoiling it for a lot of people.
Easter eggs over here on FPG.
I finally got this back.
Dude.
Yeah.
The gold member.
Yes. It's the John 5 Squire Telly. This has probably been the only Telecaster that I've ever picked up and been like, that's the one. And this is not the original one I had. Yeah. I got one originally back when I guess they were right before they got discontinued. But this one is pretty freaking close. It's the neck. The neck has always been the issue with the Tellys for me, but this one is just like
shred machine.
It's so good. Yeah, I've got it in drop C. It's heavy as fuck. It's
bad. That's like, the best part about Tellys, bro, is there's at least one for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, they're so versatile.
Yeah.
One last thing on our topic there, Torsten says, keeping up with comments on YouTube, Facebook, IG sometimes is more work for me than doing the whole guitar gig. So like, you know, it can be daunting for sure. I check my comments like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I just had one from my buddy BCG, Chris over there on his channel, and he was like, hey man, just haven't talked to you in a while, just checking in. That's the nice part about being smaller and being involved in a community is like sometimes it's just like literally like your bro checking in on you in the comment section. But it can be very daunting, and I don't think any of us want it that like YouTube to necessarily be the job, or at least certainly not feel like it. Like it's just fun to get on here on Thursdays and talk to you, you know?
Yeah, or it's fun to sit in your basement and take your time setting everything up, and oh, the lighting's right, and like trying to make it the best that you can for the sake of, again, like I said, being happy with the product you're putting out to the world, right?
Yeah. Have
But
fun.
have fun with it. Exactly. And I know it's easier said than done, because like I said, I mean, I've been feeling the pressure lately, just because I've kind of put the pressure on myself,
Yeah.
because that's how I've presented myself, especially with all the sponsored stuff. But it's like, the video on this Squire, I'll get to when I get to it. I want to get it out there because I think it's cool to talk about, but
Yeah.
I don't want to put it out there and feel like, okay, here's this, here, let me play it a little bit. Okay, done, bye. I want it to be, because I like talking about it. I could sit and make a 30-minute long video talking about this same guitar and why I like it. Will
Right.
someone watch it? I don't know, but it's something I like to talk about, and my wife's tired of hearing about it, so I'm gonna talk to her about it. And if you're interested in it like I am, hey, cool.
Yeah,
But
man.
it's that's the fun of it. It's if and people like that. If you're passionate about it, and someone else is also passionate about it, they'll relate to you and they'll watch it. And it's just, you got to find it, and it's, the algorithm's a big part of it. But just keep swimming is what
Yeah,
Dory
man.
said
I
once.
mean,
That's
follow
what you got to
follow
do.
your heart with this stuff, and it will lead you down whatever path you're supposed to be going down for sure. I'm excited for,
Absolutely.
what's coming up on your channel. I'm excited for the Joyo reviews and demos, and I'm really excited. There's some interest over here on in my chat about that telly. So, and then Keith says he's gonna have to rewatch because he's super interested in the Donner travel guitar. Once again, thanks to Donner for sponsoring this episode. And
Absolutely.
I believe you have at least one video about that travel guitar on your channel, right?
So not that one. That
Okay.
one will be coming up relatively soon.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I've already got it filmed and done. It's already done.
Nice.
In fact, I'll tell you when the date is.
So Keith,
why not?
subscribe and keep an eye out because Jonathan will be dropping it.
It will be coming out. Drum roll, please. On the 8th.
Nice.
It will be dropping on July 8th at 2:30 Eastern time.
There you go.
So there you go. Wherever you're at, figure out the time zone. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's great. And one of those things is like, it's a bit of a longer video because there's a lot to it, right? But yeah, Donner's the Donner Hush series, like all of them are cool. And like I said, there's one more I'm going to be getting soon. There were some logistic issues, and but it'll be like, that'll be a welcome addition because it's something slightly different, and I'll leave it at that. So,
well, brother, my my real job's knocking on my door here. One more quick comment here. Yossi says, I post videos maybe once a month. I don't see my YouTube channel ever being, or even being a channel, and maybe it's not. It's a channel for my friends and family to see what I do, but his mindset has changed a little bit after interacting with our community. So, like, it is whatever you want it to be. Like, that's it. Everybody in my chat that runs a channel, it's so different. We have a guitar manufacturer. We have several musicians who write music and put out music videos. We've got a teacher in the chat. Yossi's basically like a gigging musician and a recording artist. And, and then we've got your resident. Go to Jonathan's channel if you want to see a piece of gear, because he's done all of them. And, and then I don't even know where I fit in. I'm kind of in the middle of all of that, but it's like,
well, you're still smaller. You're figuring it out.
Right.
And that's the fun of it,
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm still in the fun phase,
But see, you're doing the interviews, and that could be your thing, You could just be the next big, like, celebrity, like, you're talking to this guy today, and then tomorrow, Joe Bonamassa, you're talking to him, or just somebody off the top of my head, but
well,
who knows?
That is the thing. And I just want to, the interview thing is selfish for me because I wanted to talk to these people, not just chat in the comments. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to have a conversation with my dad. I want to do, and I think I can learn from people big or small. You know, I learned a lot from chatting with Keith on our episode of Tone Deep, and it's also a good exercise for me in not talking as much, because
Yeah. To
I
listen
have
more.
to ask a question and then be quiet for the answer. So it's really great.
Yeah.
And Tease is offering to you, Jonathan, if you like a telly that chugs, you would love his telly.
Huh.
So
Might have to.
you know, maybe Torsten wants to have a sponsorship spot on Onlyfrets at one point or another as well.
Well, hey, we can most certainly talk about that, bud.
Yeah, man.
Most certainly.
Very cool. And on that note, Jonathan, it's been a pleasure as always, sir.
Yeah, it has been. I'm feeling the day catching up with me as I'm sitting here. I'm just like, ooh, I'm tired. But I was out in we're in the middle of a heat wave over here in good old Georgia, and it's been like 100 degrees the past 2 or 3 days. And I was doing yard work yesterday. So
Yeah.
I'm still feeling that. But hey, as a reminder, link in the description of this video if you want to pick up any of the Donner products. There's a sale going on till the 29th. And then I got my code Flamingo that you can use for 15% off. So yeah, so I think all of their stuff's on sale, including this. So if you really are interested in it, let some people know, man. And
yeah, really cool.
thank you again, Donner, for sponsoring the video. Greatly appreciate it. Me and Sean both. Hit up Sean, give him a chance. I'm sure he could do some justice.
We have
player.
Donner products in the video.
We do.
We've got a drum kit right here. That's Donner.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this little honey right here, and
yeah.
I'm doing my part for Electric Flamingo sponsorship. So this is just our shill episode here.
You do also have the Donner Mini
shill
one, don't you?
You know,
don't you have one of those old Donner Mini single coil?
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
son's guitar. We have a little single pickup Strat upstairs that he's been banging around on the last couple days. So
there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, man. Keith says he'll
Donner
check
products
the affiliate link for buying his travel guitar. So
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. All the clicks help too. So you go click on it, put some traffic to it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't buy anything, just click on it.
That's right. Click.
I can see.
Don't even think. Just click.
Exactly. All righty. Well, we're gonna get back to it, and hopefully next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll be back with another riveting episode of Onlyfrets. Maybe I'll play the gold telly a little bit next time if I don't make a video on it beforehand. But
yeah, man,
stick around.
Telly episode for sure.
Exactly. There you go.
All right, y'all.
All right, folks. Y'all be safe out there. Thanks for sticking around. We'll catch you next week.